I'm lucky and grateful to be the steward of this at the moment. You know, I learned that from Brian Smetzer in Seattle. I mean, Brian's a Seattle icon, played there, coached all levels. He's the MLS coach. And he just says, I'm the steward right now. And at some point, I'm going to have to hand that on. I'm lucky that Robin trusts me to do that. It's been a lot of really great people that have done it before, and there will be people after me that, you know, hopefully I leave it better than I found it. To have the opportunity to evolve it, to try to make it sustainable for as long as it can be, is special.
The unique part to me about the academy is that we're going to put these kids in an environment where it's different, and we're going to challenge them every day to be better human beings, better soccer players. And you know, ultimately, you might not end up with a college All-American, maybe not invited into a youth national ID camp at 15, but there's a lot of great players that develop at different ages, and I think this is the unique part about what we're trying to do.
Having the USL U20 Academy team is vital for our success in actually trying to do what we're trying to do. Why? Because it truly allows us to have a global kind of reserve team where, on the one hand, players from the younger teams can push to become a part of. It is an important step because you have players that are older than you. It is an important step in the ascension to possibly the first team. We haven't had that opportunity before. Now we do. It is also an opportunity for us to give minutes to some of the guys who are on the first team and may need more consistency, maybe more minutes for consistency and confidence, so that they can really push the guys in the first team 18 or in the first team starting lineup. So the role of the U20 Academy is vital for us, and it's vital for player development.
You know, I think it's important to have levels of play. They're still kids, and training is one thing, being able to play in a meaningful game is everything. And we've seen it from Ty when he went to North Carolina. It's such a competitive environment. He got there, he was 17 years old. There was guys there on the team that were 25, 26. And it is very difficult, as Landon's seeing, to compete and to contribute with guys that are 7, 8, 9, 10 years older than you. And to be able to still train and get that level of training and then turn around and play against guys your own age or even a couple years older, that's so much easier, and then they get to see the results. I mean,
yeah, I think it helps them mentally as well, you know, just being able to, still train with a professional team that are 10, 20 years, I mean, a little bit older than him, but then go to the U20, 23 league. You can see that he flourishes. I mean, he said, hey, I can dominate. These are kids, even though I'm training, I can still play and show my expertise and my skills. And that mentally, I think that helps prepare him as well.
As we develop the players, we are developing them to win. But we do not do that at the expense of development. Getting a result in each of those games in a way that we feel is what is needed for that game for those players to develop is the way we are approaching every game. And trust me, we are going to win in the USL Academy. Connor already did a phenomenal job in Tampa in the USL Academy Cup. Our intention is to compete to win the league as well.
I'm not a guy, Mika is not a guy. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not saying that people don't do good work. They do. Like, for a long time, there's been good players here, there's been good coaches, there's been good programming. Where we're going with that is, like, right now there are people that become All-Americans. There are people here that become top college players that do make it at the pro level on some level. I just think there's so many more that could, and there are players that reach a level that they could have reached a higher level than that.
There has always been a lack of a pathway for them to the pros in the city. And they've talked about it for years. Now they're doing it, which is pretty cool.
Atlanta United being in MLS. I mean, Matt Lowry and the Atlanta United coach Will Bates is a really wonderful coach. We had a local guy that moved down there. So we felt like we were in great hands. We were. I mean, our experience there was first class. Nothing to say at all. It really boiled down to, gosh, can we get the pro experience but yet still be at home? And again, going back 2020, that wasn't as much as an option, because as Darren first came in with Ty in 2021, the players could come and train, but the chance to be a pro wasn't really set up yet. So we felt like you had to go somewhere else to get the pro experience. And so that's what we did with Landon, and he goes down to Atlanta United, and then Darren's still back there like, hey, if he comes back here, this opportunity is here. And you know, he goes down for a year, he gets homesick, we miss him. told Darren we want to bring him back, and he's like, bring him back. You know, the opportunity's still there.
If you have 16 and 17-year-old male or female playing with grown women or grown men on a daily basis, day in and day out, in the type of environment that helps them grow exponentially, they're going to reach potential. They're going to be the best version of what they could have been. There are so many people. It's the adage where I wish I could go back and tell the 24-year-old me what the 51-year-old me knows now, right? Like all this knowledge and all that stuff. But what if you could put the majority of the knowledge that you can, based on having an understanding of how to do it, so that they do reach that potential? It's what we're attempting to do. And the potential is massive, because if you already have kids that are graduating into college programs and doing well there, or signing pro contracts and getting opportunities even at our level, pretty quick they're going to sign younger with us, and they're going to sign higher and bigger level contracts down the road.
To play with grown men who have played all over the world, and to gain that experience and the little tidbits of knowledge that he gets here and there. He'll come home and describe a story of, hey, did you know somebody played with this guy from the Premier League? Or did you see that this guy played with somebody in the World Cup? You're never going to get that as a 17-year-old. But then at the same time, he can go into the locker room and hang out with boys that he's played with since U11 that know everything they like to do and who their favorite team is and who they cheer for. So it's this perfect blend right now that you have youth and you have experience, but there isn't a divide in the locker room. The culture is all one, which is great.
I think it's been such a privilege for him and for us to see him be mentored by so many amazing people on the team. I mean, literally from around the world. He's experiencing so much world culture right here in his own hometown, and they've been so accepting of him and understanding what his feelings might be like, and that means a lot, of course, as parents, that I really care about his feelings.
And this goes from the leadership all the way through the Kickers organization. Everybody who's around here, you can tell, is supportive of what's happening, and they're excited about it, which is great to see.
If there is no methodology, then you are leaving too many things up for chance. So what is methodology? It is a way of teaching. And there's, of course, there's many different ways of teaching. So you could have an equally successful methodology. But for us, what we've decided to do, Darren and myself, with Rob's overall supervision and permission, is we've aligned our methodology with what we think we should align it with, which is really the US Soccer Federation way and the MLS way combined. The MLS is educating their academy coaches with the French formation license. Darren was on the first French formation license course. So it is important that we are aligned with how they are teaching at that course, because MLS is the highest level of the game in our country. The director of coaching education for the US Soccer Federation, Didier Chambaron, is a Frenchman, and I'm very fortunate that I get to work with him because I'm one of the few educators for the A senior license for the pro course. So aligning our methodology with the highest level of the game in our country, which is influenced by the French, is very important to us.
When you say methodology, most people think of X's and O's. Yes, there's a methodology. There's a microcycle, there's a macrocycle, there's a mesocycle. There's phases to teach in the game, and there's principles within those phases. But methodology for us is the whole package. It's how you treat your people. It's the HIRES principle, which is our acronym: humility, intelligence, respect, effort, and standards. It spells HIRES. Why? If you're not humble, it's not gonna work. Okay, you need to be intelligent as a soccer player. And when you're working with young players, you have to help them with that intelligence. You have to respect everybody. You obviously have to have effort. And then last year we added standards to it. Like, we can't allow, once we get to a level, for it to drop. That's part of methodology. That's every day. That's being a good human being. That's having character.
His game and his character, I think, have increased tenfold because of the environment. They ask him to be professional. You're in an environment in front of lots of people watching you, whether it's on TV or at home, and to ask someone that's not really technically an adult yet to be an adult is a lot to ask, but it seems easier when you have such good role models. Off the field, it shows as well. At home, like he's, I can say, he's grown tenfold in his maturity and how he might treat a situation mentally.
when I think he's learned respect. Like, he's playing with grown men and he's around a professional organization, and he's gained respect, and he then shows more respect. I find that he's in situations and it's like, Griffin wouldn't have done that maybe a year ago. Like, he's grown as a young man, and I think that's just this culture that they keep on talking about, just rubbing off on him. Whether it's in the locker room, whether it's on the field, whether it's on the bus ride coming down, it's the culture that they've built.
We're very much focused on giving a structure, giving principles, and appropriate support through the structure, so that the teaching is the most effective, and it is geared towards autonomy for the players. It takes time to learn the game. It takes time to learn the concepts that are incredibly crucial for becoming a high-level soccer player, because it is about controlling and understanding time, space, manipulation of space, interference with opponents, etc., etc. So if we have young players who, from 12 years old, from 13 years old, are educated towards that end goal, we are giving everybody an opportunity to develop to the highest possible level. So even when they leave Richmond and they go to play in other clubs, they are going to be more likely to be picked up by higher level universities or go to different environments of a higher level, because they understand the game and they are going to be more consistent.
Yeah, I would tell you that we want all of it. The Ivy, our U20s, all the way down, whatever we run, we want it all together. Not always has to be perfectly the exact same methodology, but in general, yes, we all do it together. Last year, November, December, I ran a multitude of training sessions for the 16s, 17s, and 19s in our U. I coached games. We watched video. I've watched all of the games that Connor's coached for our U20s. We watched the whole Cup in Tampa. We had got 4 or 5 guys there that did well. Landon and Gabe were recognized. So was James Snedden. The point is, it's all one cluster of a group of people, and what we have to make sure is that perpetuates. No matter what we're running, no matter who we're partnered with, we have to do that, and we're not quite there yet. Like, it's still a process.
I think you can see the benefits on the field and off the field. I think on the field, our style of play is very ambitious. Arguably, it is the most ambitious style of play, because we want to have possession, we want to dominate the game with the ball, and we want to get the ball back as fast as we can. And in order to do so, the players are constantly challenged cognitively.
When you take methodology and you wrap your head around it, most times when I talk to youth soccer directors, they look at me like, oh yeah, we do that, or that curriculum, or this, whatever. That isn't what methodology is. Your secret sauce. It's what matters. It's the piece that when players leave you, they're their best potential, both as a human being and then as a soccer player. And look, we're gonna work hard to get better at that every year, and we're gonna fail sometimes. But I think we have a good start to this thing, and you can see it in the players we have around.
Nobody wants to send their kid to Columbus or Atlanta or Charlotte to live with a host family while they chase their soccer dream. I've got 2 kids. One's a 22-year-old that's going to do a post-grad year at Mary Washington, and a freshman that's going to Mary Washington. And I can't imagine not having my kids in my house, being with them every day, so that whether we walk the dogs, whether we go swimming, whether we go play soccer, whether we go to a dinner together, I just can't imagine how a family would want their child not to be here in Richmond.
I get a chance to make breakfast for him every single morning, and that's kind of our bonding time. And words can't describe how much I appreciate that, because someday, I won't be there, or he won't be there. And so we're living in the moment, and I look forward to that each and every day.
Yeah, so growing up, driving him to practices, one thing I started to miss as he got his driver's license was I always had 20 to 30 minutes with Griffin in the car, and we could talk about whatever he wanted. Well, now he drives, now he's playing on a pro team. You lose that time, but we still have it. Ours is on the golf course. Me and him go play golf, and it's our time to be in the cart and just talk. And for him to be home around his friends or in an environment that he's comfortable with, it's priceless. To stay here and develop is a dream come true.
I guess for me, it's just more about making sure they have that foundation, that family foundation up front. I'm still like Stephanie Garnett and her family. I'm able to get up and still cook him breakfast in the morning, cook him dinner, take him shopping, hang out with him. He's still able to hang out with his friends. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, when he did leave, that it did hurt me a little bit because I wasn't able to have him home and just see him grow and develop. Even though he had a strong foundation at the MLS Academy Club, I mean, but it was still not like, it wasn't like having him home.
They're still teenagers and they're still doing teenage things, and so they still need parental advice and just little things from getting up, picking clothes up off your floor, to getting up on time, just having parents there still raising their kids.
Well, I think this is where kids should be sent. Like, this is a great place to grow up, and what we're trying to build is a fair environment where we're going to do our best to engage you. I thought the coolest part for me is just watching a second ago while I'm waiting for this interview, watching Griffin Garnett bang the ball against the wall there. Like, it looks like all the other guys are either gone or in the locker room. He's out there working on his technique, working on his touch. We want homegrown kids to know that this is a venue, and City Stadium, like almost everybody around Richmond's been to some kind of event here, which is really cool. So we want to create this environment where, what's your goal? Do you want to go somewhere else and hopefully get a sniff in Charlotte or Columbus or New York City FC, or do you want to make sure that you get on the field in front of your friends, your family, where everybody can come out and cheer you on? I think that's a really cool story to tell.
I missed him, Jason missed him, we wanted him to come back home. So it was a great opportunity. We've seen Landon flourish now since he's been back home. Again, he's sleeping in his own bed, hanging with his friends, and that's what he missed the most part about it. But also, he still have the opportunity, even though he's online doing his courses, he still has the opportunity to still interact with some of his high school friends. So that's what's most important. But we wanted to make sure we stuck by Landon and supported his vision, and that's what we're doing today, is making sure that he still has that opportunity. We're grateful that he's with the Kickers, and Kickers offered him the academy contract and then the pro contract. So we're just very anxious, and thankful and glad that he's getting this opportunity.
And to keep him here in his home environment, around his friends, eating at home, being able to hang out with his friends, I think that was a big deal for us. And then obviously, Rob, Mika, Darren have been so welcoming and supportive. It was a great experience.
To take on something very difficult like this with Rob, I'm just really lucky because we don't agree on everything. And I think that's the best way to have a relationship. We respect each other. I work for him, but he listens to my expertise on the soccer side. I listen to him on the business, and we come together on the life side, and we find a pretty good common ground. You add PhD Mika Elevara to it, you get more intellect, knowledge, and experience, and pretty quick you have a nice little bucket of knowledge that I think we're gonna give kids their best opportunity to grow.
Rob, Darren, and Mika have all been so amazing and so generous of their time and are truly committed to this process and really believe in what they're doing. And we're 100% on board and want to be part of that. The fact that they spend so much time with our kid, with every other player, with every staff member, just really shows how much they care, and that means a lot to me. And they all have families and kids in sports, so they understand that a 17-year-old's brain is different from a 28-year-old brain, and it needs different nurturing. And I'm so grateful for that.
When we came here, we saw more of a Darren would put on, and Mika too. I mean, Mika's been fantastic. Like a parental hat one day, coaching hat one day, pro coach one day, and they really get it. Like they're like, we want to see these kids go to their high school prom, go to their, go home, be with their parents. And so they understand the parenting aspect of it, and it's not just pro athlete or else. So we're getting the whole gambit of everything we can get from them.
This is not an easy step to bring in young men playing with grown adults, and to also not defeat them at the same time. I mean, keep them upbeat, keep the culture strong amongst the team as well as the younger players. So, I mean, they truly are walking the walk. They're doing what they said they're going to do, and it's just been impressive.
I also want people to know that we're not giving up on signing Emiliano Terzaghi's and Neil Vignals and Zaka Morans and Pablo Harris. We want to sign high-level players. If we get to the point where we're selling on players the way that we want to, we have the ability to continue to develop, which is the project we're talking about, but it also gives us resources to be able to buy players at the level that Lexington and Madison and all of these other teams in our league do. We don't have that ability right now. That's okay. We are in the development business.
I don't think there is a ceiling for us as a lower division soccer club in terms of what the potential is. Whether we reach that potential has a lot to do with how much of the community gets behind this, because we need everybody. We need everybody to look forward in the same direction for a shared future. If that happens, we can become a team with the Kickers Pro team and the Ivy that regularly wins championships, not just competes for them, but also in doing so helps young men and women pursue their dreams and actually fulfill them.